Hello YouTubers, Joe Kersey here on, November 16th here. It's getting on near a little after 3:15 in the afternoon Eastern time. It's about 36 degrees. Feels a little cooler than that. The wind's died down. I guess we're going to have a little snow come in from the southwest later tonight and into early tomorrow morning. We've already had a little sort of almost quasi-freezing drizzle, which now has stopped. I'm a bit, let's see, it's useless to assign a term to it. I'm certainly not depressed. I suppose disgruntled would be the best way to approach it. While not having any firm, while not having had any firm commitment from my son about coming up to pick up this refurbished computer, I had the sense that perhaps he might show up today and collect this thing so he could start using it. Obviously, from his standpoint, there's no rush. And I guess from my standpoint, there's no rush as well. So I guess I'm just going to piss and moan a bit. This gets back to the essence of the seventh commandment. Honor thy father and thy mother, so that thou might live long and prosper in the land. But with, leaving aside the prospering in the land part of that commandment, as St. Paul pointed out, the first commandment that comes with a promise, a tit for tat, a quid pro quo, if you will. This is a state I've been in before. When I grew up, well, the only parent of my parents that was still alive was my mother's mother, my maternal grandmother. And we went over and saw her. Well, my mother certainly went over and saw her, and I would often go with her. More often than not, every other week. I mean, this happened, regularly, and it was generally on a Saturday, and then on Sunday we did either the Kerseys getting together every other week, or she got together with her sisters, her two sisters, and their families every other week. Not, this wasn't hard and fast, obviously, but let's just say 45 weekends out of the year, that's what happened. Such has not been the case. Well, I mean, obviously, my ex-wife and I are divorced, and I understand that that's not. I understand that wasn't going to happen when he was younger. But when my mother was still alive, and I was, there were times I couldn't do it when I was working, obviously. I understand that. But after I retired, I could, I could run down to Lebanon. That's 105 miles away, and I'd run down there every other week. And as you all know, my mother and I didn't get along all that well, but that was my duty. I thought that was my duty to do that. And toward the last several years of her life, 12 years or more of her life, she couldn't really go out and shop for herself very well, so I would do the shopping for her. Now, thank the good Lord I'm not at that point yet. This is irrelevant to the point. Once again, I mean, once again, yeah, I'll say once again because it's happened, once again, I have, perhaps I've assumed, but nonetheless, I didn't think it was an unreasonable assumption that my son would come up and, I didn't expect him to stay all afternoon. I just thought he'd come and pick this thing up. And then scamper off. I know he's got things to do. He was able to watch the football game, the Ohio State football game, with his father-in-law the other day, yesterday. Yeah, he's got things to do. And that's good. He needs to spend time with his wife's family. His father-in-law's a great guy. Of course, when something like this happens, when something like this happens, I'm thinking, well, I need to put this thing up on eBay, and I'll just run down to his school and drop it. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to inject myself into his school. That would be awful. That'd be the last I'd hear from him, period, on that one. Or just take it down to UPS, have them pack the thing up and, UPS it to his house. I'm going to tell you right now, if somebody were to give me a $3,000 new computer, I'd be off my ass and up to their place in a heartbeat. I am very puzzled. This will be the third computer I've bought for this man. See what we do for the people we love. The squirrels have been chewing like mad here on the rail today. Well, not on the rail, but they've been chewing walnuts on the rail. That we can sort of follow along here, and then there's more off to the other end there. Well, I'm out here right now basically because the internet's out. Now it's interesting. It does, the modem and the lights and everything doesn't indicate that the internet's out, but it's out. You try to surf, you try to go into a browser and a page will half load and it stops, and you go to mail and it talks about how all of the servers are not letting you through. So for all intents and purposes, the internet's out, and it has been for about the last 2 hours. Well, that'll learn me. Oh, value systems, how thou have shifted. Well, it's a beautiful day afternoon. Yeah, we're gonna get a little sort of wet stuff coming in here tonight. You know, snow and ice maybe. Well, I'm going to sign off here. Maybe there'll be some new news here when Paul gets home, or some other development happens. Oh, that's a pretty little tree here. Pretty little residual. Yeah, give you a little view of the residual there. Residuum. All right.